Before we get into today's episode, I'd love to introduce our sponsor, Jane, a clinic management software and EMR. The team at Jane understands that clocking out from the clinic doesn't always mean you're clocking out for the day. Instead, it's often the start to charting long into the evening. With time-saving charting features like custom smart narratives, chart duplication, and dictation, Jane helps you finish charting your patient or client notes during work hours, not after hours. And to save you even more time, you have access to Jane's chart template library that's fully stocked with pre-made templates that have been generously shared by practitioners in the community. You can even customize them further with charting tools like side-by-side photos, checkboxes, and range scales. To see how Jane can help you free up your evenings from admin tasks, head to meet.jane.app/more-time to book your personalized demo. But if you're ready to get started, you can use the code WELLNESS1MO at the time of sign up for a 1-month grace period applied to your new account. Hi there, and welcome to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. I'm Kendall Hagenson.
And I'm Anna Rudell. We're thrilled to have you join us on this journey of creating innovative, patient-centered wellness centers.
As experienced health and wellness providers, we've seen firsthand the challenges of delivering comprehensive, holistic care to our patients.
That's why we created this podcast, to share the knowledge, strategies, and insights we've gained from our own experiences and from connecting with experts in the field.
Each episode, we'll dive into a different aspect of building and growing a successful wellness center, from developing a strong multidisciplinary team to implementing cutting-edge technologies and treatment approaches.
We'll also share practical tips, resources, and real-world examples to help you overcome common obstacles and streamline your processes.
Our goal is to empower you with the tools and confidence you need to create a thriving wellness center that truly makes a difference in your patients' lives.
So whether you're just starting out or looking to take your existing practice to the next level, you're in the right place.
Get ready to learn, grow, and be inspired. Let's create something amazing together.
Welcome to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Wellness Center Creators Podcast. Today on the show, we have Keli Laverty. Keli, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Let's start by having you just share a bit about yourself and your story and how you got to be doing what you're doing today.
Sure. My name is Keli Laverty, and I am the founder of Be Rooted and the Be With Body Experience. I am a board-certified dance movement therapist, and I've been doing that work for over 20 years. I've always been a dancer, and so I'd say my story started when I was young, just being in my body and loving to explore nature and the world around me, and dance became my safety place, became the way that I really felt the most myself. Throughout my childhood, I had different experiences of family issues, different things. My parents divorced. I was back and forth between two homes, had different things come up, and dance was always there. And it was always the way that I just connected to myself intuitively. At the same time, though, I've always been a thinker. I was an overachiever. I was an academic. I focused on being the good girl, getting the best grades, making sure I was always getting along with everyone. I was very good with the flow. And it wasn't until I went to college that I realized that I was kind of living two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'd be very in my body and out of my head as I moved. And then I was studying engineering and being a very analytical type A, kind of very much in my head. And long story short, I realized that wasn't really the path for me, to be in my head, in a lab, always thinking. I found that I could integrate my mind and my body in my life as well by studying psychology and the brain and neurobiology and movement and bring all my loves together. So that led me towards dance therapy as a profession. I really love working with women who get stuck between mind and body, kind of that overthinker, that anxious, kind of go, 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 always trying to please people and doing everything for everyone else and losing connection with themselves. I really love bringing women back to their body and helping them to find that connection to themselves through movement and dance therapy. So,
Oh, Keli, listening to you talk about the way that you came to your profession is just incredible, because I think so many of us find that we need this type of therapy, I imagine, but we are that overachiever, A-type personality, constant go, 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 as you say. How do women find you? Because it would seem like it would be out of the comfort zone for so many people who, even going to therapy is a big jump. To go to
right,
movement therapy, how do people find you? Tell me more.
right. Well, I think people find me various ways. I think over the years, I've worked through different treatment centers and I've worked a lot in the field of trauma and eating disorders. And those two fields, especially, have a lot to do with the body, and a lot of the symptoms and struggles that we go through are in the body. So it made more sense.
Mm.
People who were going to therapy for body image issues or for an eating disorder, eating issues, would be very fearful of their body, and they'd get to a space where they would be recommended to do some body work. But I think a lot of women that I work with now are realizing that talk doesn't get them where they want to be. So they've tried therapy and something's missing. They're not able to make the shift. And I get women who have had those moments of connection in their body, have maybe find those moments in nature or through dance, or have like kitchen dance parties with their kids and are saying, I feel the most alive when I'm doing that. And they just want a guide. They want someone to help them tap back into that space where they can be more free and more connected to themselves. So I I think people find me when they're maybe Googling how to get out of my head, how to
Hmm.
move past, to change. And somatic therapy is more and more in the news, in the Instagram, social media. So it's becoming more aware, I think, in the collective, that we need our bodies to change. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, it's always been a challenge, I think, how for people to learn about dance movement therapy and what it is and how to even describe it with words.
Keli, I might have you do just that and kind of define it for our audience. Our longtime
Mhm.
listeners have heard me talk about dance movement therapy a bit. They know that I'm a somatic therapist and dance therapist as well. But
Yeah.
I'm curious if you can kind of put it in your own words, for those of our listeners who maybe have never heard of somatic therapy, creative arts therapy, or dance therapy before.
Yeah. I think for me, being a thinker and being in my brain, it made sense that I want to tell my body what to do. And, it seems like I should be able to just figure this out and be in the kind of go into that why and the what and just give me a plan. But the cool thing about dance therapy, it's more about the how, and it's learning to be in the body and be with the body rather than following this structured how to. It is learning to practice. And I think it's really getting back to the human experience. So movement in general is our first language. And I always describe that that's where we learn about the world through movement. We learn how to connect. We feel connection. We learn about ourselves as we enter into the world. And then we lose that as we become adults, as we grow up in this culture. We're told how to be. We're influenced by many external things, and we lose the internal wisdom, the connection to that wisdom as our guide. So dance movement therapy, it's just a way of reconnecting, and it's done within the therapeutic relationship. So movement, I feel, is, I mean, I was a dancer and I wasn't in dance therapy, but I felt the connection through movement. The power of dance movement therapy is the therapist is with you and can help guide you and help you in that safe space to learn to do that, as well as to be witnessed. And the co-regulation, the connection between the therapist and the client is really powerful, because as humans, we just need to feel seen, and we need that connection in order to feel safe in the world. So, yeah.
Thank you.
What a fulfilling job it sounds like, that you might get something out of it, out of the relationship, you know, in that movement, in that relationship with the client, the co-regulation that you speak of. Wow.
Yeah.
I know Kendall led a very short segment of some movement therapy at the last year's Wellness Center Creators Retreat. And you could see the anxiety on everybody's face as we entered into these just few moments. But at the end, there was such a powerful change in everybody.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it's like one-on-one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really powerful. And as you said, I don't think about it all that often, but I do get a lot out of just how powerful it is with a client for them to take that risk, to be open, to be vulnerable, and to let me see them, to move in front of me. And in the therapy session, it's really powerful. So I get inspired by them, and definitely it can sound very complicated. It can bring up a lot of anxiety. Like, I don't want to move in front of anyone, but we're moving all the time and we're in our bodies all the time. So really, I always try to bring it back to just, it's simple. We're in our body, and the human experience is to be here present with someone and with ourselves. So if I can create that space for someone, I feel honored to do that.
Incredible.
And I always say, like, with trauma, trauma is happening within our body. And I don't think anyone would argue with that, right? If they feel themselves in a trauma response or a trauma experience, they're feeling that in their body. And we can't talk our way out of that. We can't talk our way out of a traumatic experience and a trauma response in our brain. And that usually kind of hits home for people of like, oh, that does make sense. We're going to need to go back into the body to actually reprocess this, or heal through this, or make sense of this.
Yeah.
So tell us about the business that you have created for yourself, Keli.
Sure. My business is Be Rooted, and it is a counseling practice where I work one-on-one with clients. I teach in an intuitive movement class each week that is more to bring everyone into that experience of listening to their body and shifting out of movement needing to be this thing that we do, and have it be an experience for something that we can just become through movement. We can listen to our body, connect to our body, and to have a space to do that rather than going to a gym, being able to come and just give yourself time and space to move. So that's a class that I do online as well as in person. And then I have a group program for women that are wanting to take that practice and have a step-by-step plan and integrate the dance therapy that we might do one-on-one, integrate it into their daily life so that they can have practices to listen to each day, to implement each day, and to start to really live that experience through movement, and embody the change that they're wanting to do.
What was the catalyst for you to create that program, that more structured program versus the, in addition to the one-on-one work?
Yeah, I've always loved group work. And so I was feeling a lack of community and group in private practice and wanting to create that community where women could come and feel that they're not alone. And I also, working one-on-one, I was getting a lot of feedback from clients that when they're in this space with me and in their session each week, they can make this change. They can feel different. Their body is able to start doing new patterns. But then the second they go back out into the world, we go back into stress mode. We go back into autopilot and doing the coping skills that we know that it doesn't feel safe. We go back into the movements that are patterned. And so I really was trying to brainstorm how to help people go from that 1 hour a week into creating new patterns and what would be the pieces that could help that. So I think community is a huge piece. And then just small practices that if I could give them little audios and journals and steps each day that they could implement in a very easy way, not a lot of time, a 5-minute audio that they can practice and they can start noticing. And once they do it, they know the theme for the week and they don't even need to be listening to the audio. They can just practice throughout the day, throughout their week. And then we're coming together as community to explore that more, to talk about how that went. And I've been finding that, my clients who have worked with me one-on-one and then are trying the group really are getting a lot out of that community.
Mm-hmm. Is it, does it come via email or is it a Facebook program, or how does that all work?
Yeah, there's a content hub. There's a place that they log into and all the modules and movement practices are there. So they have access to it at any time. And then we meet live each week as a group to explore, no matter where they are, the people can be at different points in their program, and they can be repeating or just the themes integrate with each other. So our body is we can't separate out one thing, but each movement practice builds on each other as well as can be repeated. So
nice.
Yeah.
Do you have people that are doing weekly or regular therapy with you one-on-one who are also doing the program?
Yeah, it's very individualized. Some women feel that the group is all they need. Some have been with me one-on-one and wanted the group experience and then come back and do some one-on-one. Also through the group, we have some individual sessions as well.
Mm.
Yeah, it's I try to cater it to whatever my client needs, what's going to work best for them and the level of support that they need and are looking for.
Mm.
Keli, I'm curious if you had one piece of advice or sort of a couple tidbits for brand new dance movement therapists who want, or maybe just new to starting their own business. What's that one thing you wish you knew, or that piece of advice to give those new practitioners? Thankfully, somatic therapy is more popular present day than when you and I started. But
right.
what would you tell that new dance movement therapist who wants to start their own practice?
That's a great question. I think, I've gone back and forth with the identity of a dance movement therapist and what that means to me professionally and kind of how much I embody that and how much I take on that identity versus somatic therapist or therapist or, and depending at different times in my career, I think it was necessary to match if I was in a hospital to say I was a licensed counselor and dance therapist but now after many years, I find just embody the dance movement therapist. I step fully into that. And even if people don't quite know what that is, it's, it's definitely, for me, I think it makes the most sense to just challenge myself to embody that. So for someone new to really, if they're passionate and excited and they're faced with, I don't know what that is, or, there's different times when people don't know what something is, they might value it less than what they do know. And just to keep really advocating and finding the ways to educate and really take the risk of being yourself.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I used to tell clients, like 10 years ago, they would come into my office. They don't know what it is. They've never heard of dance therapy. They've never heard of somatic therapy. But they'd say, I've tried everything, and I saw you do this thing. I don't know what it is, but I've tried everything else. And I say, well, since you've tried everything else, what if we try a couple things together? You tell me how it feels, and we'll just go from there. Are you willing to do an experiment with me? Are you willing to try? And 99% of the time, the answer is yes. And experiencing it makes a lot more sense than explaining it through words a lot of times when it has to do with the body.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's where stepping out and taking the risk of putting ourselves out there in social media or in other ways of showing people what dance therapy is versus telling them. I think the experience is needed. And so that is something too for a new dance therapist, to go out into the community and find ways of letting people experience dance therapy, to connect and network with therapists who don't know what it is. I do a lot of networking and different networking experientials for talk therapists, for wellness, for companies, for different people to get an idea of, it's not just all in our head. If we want to feel different, we really need to move different. So,
yeah. Keli, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you today. And it sounds like you have a giveaway for our listeners if you want to tell everyone about it.
Yeah, I would love to. I have a free guide. It is just an acronym to walk through how to feel. And so it's a PDF where you read it, and then through that, you can then reach out to me and get a free class that will help walk you through the audio of that as well. But the PDF lays it all out on how to feel rather than fix your feeling. So I'd love to share more. If you follow the link in the show notes, it will send you there.
Fantastic.
Wow, thank you.
And if our listeners just want to find you and connect with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, I am on Instagram and TikTok, more on Instagram at Keli Laverty _be rooted. So Keli is Keli, and then Laverty, Laverty.
Wonderful.
I would love to have you follow me there. I also have a Facebook group for anyone that wants. I do Movement Monday, movement experientials, and they can also find me on Facebook too.
Great. Thank you so much, Keli. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been
Thank
fabulous.
you for having me. Thanks.
Thank you for tuning in to the Wellness Center Creators podcast. We hope you found this episode informative and valuable.
If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and leaving a rating and review. Your support helps us reach more health and wellness professionals like you.
For additional resources, show notes, and more episodes, visit our website at wellnesscentercreators.com.
We'd love to connect with you and hear your thoughts, experiences, and questions. Feel free to reach out to us through our website or social media channels.
Once again, thank you for listening. We appreciate your dedication to providing exceptional patient care.
Join us next time as we continue exploring the world of wellness center creation. Until then, take care and keep making a difference.
Thanks for listening to the Wellness Center Creators podcast.